of ways to raise money. It is almost 8:30. Adrian, do we want to open it up a little bit or?
Yes.
Or end it? Okay.
Let's open up,
Our other mic died, so I'll have to take this mic and then you'd have to answer it. Does anyone else have a question they'd like to ask the counselors?
The Planning Commission voted unanimously, really to our surprise, and we were so pleased, to remove the term understudy from the comprehensive plan. Do you think that City Council will decide to put that back? Do you think that they will accept all the changes that the Planning Commission made to the document?
I think that we will accept it as presented. And so that was why it was really important. It shows you the power you all have, is that you did, you can't hear me, I know.
You know, the power you have is that you went down there and you talked to that planning commission and you stood up and you each talked about it. And that is the power of the people, and that's what we've got to harness. I think this will be a great, but I don't think anybody, I may be wrong, but in my mind, I don't think you will see that term put back in.
I don't.
Does anyone else have a question?
I remember we signed petitions, was that 2 years ago during the 2016 presidential election? There were a lot of petitions floating around. Have those been presented to the city council? And if so, who presented them, what was the comment?
We have them and we're discussing whether to present them. Maybe Adrian knows.
yes, well,
How many signatures?
6,500?
okay. Hold on, I'll show you what we have, or most of them. We have about 6,000 that I know of. There's a few still out there, people haven't turned in yet. Some people have collected signatures, but they haven't turned them in yet. So
That was a hint, people.
this is a copy of about 6,000 signatures. Now, I haven't numbered them yet, so I'm not going to drop this, I hope.
Daily press, this would be a photo op.
But you see, this is what it looks like, 6,000 signatures. Close to 700 pages, I guess.
What is your advice, counselors, as to when we should officially present this to you?
My opinion,
Sure.
When the meeting that I make the motion and he seconds, and we have 2 more votes. Although I'd like to see it mentioned before and shown before. I don't know that I'd put them in, but at least look what we've got so far. This is your public. This is what your public wants. I think it's good to show them every time. Come down, show and tell. And we're getting more. And if you care about the city and its people, you need to start listening.
I'd like to see you all bring a copy of that when you come down before the city council for their next meeting. I think it would be very powerful for the people involved. I'm not so sure that we're going to pass this and keep the understudy designation out of the comprehensive plan. I don't know. I don't have enough experience yet to know whether that's going to happen or not. I'm hopeful that people will come along. It's very reasonable that they will. I've worked it out in my mind where it seems like a very reasonable thing for them to do. And I've talked to some of them about it. But until they vote, I don't know. That's why I'm encouraging you to come down and talk and make your case. Because I would hate to sit here and say, oh, I think this is a done deal, and then people not come out and not express. There may be city council members out there that are on the fence right now that really don't know whether they're going to do this. and your voice before city council could be the one voice that pushes them over, that gets this done for our city.
Let's see a show of hands again. Who's coming? How many people? Can you bring somebody with you? Children. Young people.
Hi, I'm Shelley Simons from the school board, and I'm here with everybody. Thank you all so much for being willing to be, being open and having this discussion. I think really the council members from the north are quite important because this park is going to equally serve the residents of the northern part of the city. I mean, these lines they've drawn in terms of districts are very arbitrary. So one thing you all might want to start doing is looking at the signatures that you have from people in the North District and making sure those people are writing the city council people from the North so that they really know their voters want this. I also like someone was saying kind of starting slowly and making sure we get access to a trail. And I think a trail immediately would not be that expensive. And I know the cross-country team from Menchville High School really wants a trail. There are already so many people working out at the Riverview Farm property, so a trail makes total sense. Eventually, a boardwalk there, something sustainable, low maintenance, place for festivals. It just seems like a no-brainer to me. And then one other idea I had is I think that we should do a contest with students. We should do some kind of design or dream up a park or dream up a trail or some kind of drawing contest and maybe try to reach out to some Boy Scout troops. I know a Girl Scout troops, but I don't know any Boy Scout troops, and see if we can get some Boy Scout troops to take this on and maybe present some big ideas to the city council. And maybe they're not our ideas, but I think having students get excited about it through some kind of, drawing competition could be really good. So thanks for all this hard work you guys are doing.
In response,
But in response to that, 2 years ago, one of the teachers from Menchville had her class write the rationale why this should be a park. And she had about 89 students. She was teaching 3 different, classes. So, and then some of them came down and spoke. It was very powerful. And their essays, I read every one of them, they were wonderful. So we need to involve the teachers to get them to do that kind of thing again. That's a great idea. And to expand it even further with design, not just rationale, but design as well.
How late do you want to go?
To about 1:15.
Okay, you got room for maybe 3 more questions?
I got a real quick one. I have a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old who I cannot bring to city council because it lasts way past bedtime. But would it be allowed for me to play a recording from them during my time?
Oh, wow.
that's a good idea. I don't know. As far as I know, that's fine.
Okay,
This is, I'll check on it, make sure you get an answer.
okay.
I don't think that's ever been presented before.
I wanted to ask about this outside group that's coming in to help.
American Planning.
Why is this necessary, and what actually is the point of it?
Our former planning head of planning for the city of Newport News is here.
And actually, this was one of your suggestions, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Al?
there was so much division on this issue. The thought was, I think Bert Bateman came up with the idea that the American Planning Association, which is a professional arm, planners like me, they have what they call a community action team situation where that if there's an issue and the community needs help resolve it, come up with a solution. They're invited into the community and they talk to various people, and they usually involve citizens and try to identify, okay, what are the issues here, what are some opportunities, you know, how you would approach it. So basically, it's sort of like getting in some great brain power from across the country, the people who know something about parks and describe, like you described, what Pittsburgh is doing. You know, I've been to Sarasota, and they have a wonderful waterfront park. But it's not just a park, you know, there's a place where you can rent boats or you can eat and that type of thing. And it's not an unusual thing. And it's basically a way to expand your horizons and thoughts from across the country from people who've been doing this in their careers.
But isn't there a danger that if we invite them before we have decided that it was definitely, before city council has...
Well, I think what's going to happen is, looks like it will be an action decision made before this happens. It seems that's what my understanding is. I mean, I don't think council is going to wait to take action on the plan. I think they're going to take the public hearing, and then my guess is, as Pat pointed out, they'll probably act within the next meeting. I don't know why they wouldn't do any good to just wait on it.
But I don't think they'll specifically,
But they won't say what's going to be in there or anything.
right, that's what I'm saying.
That's what you need. You need, okay, how do you go about planning something like this and get some really good ideas?
But that's why we need that task force rejuvenated.
And they would, like, I talked, but I went to the National Planning Conference, not this last one, the one in New York, a year ago. You know, and they had presentations on parks. And, you know, the High Line, I saw the High Line was a public spurred project. I don't know if anybody's seen it, been in New York and walked the High Line, but they have 7 million people coming in every year to walk the High Line. Now, they're going to have that in Riverview Farm Park. But, you know, one thing I would thought about, Pat's talked about, I think this idea of Warwicktown being like a Sturbridge Village type thing is a possibility. I mean, Warwicktown is one of 8 original shires created in 1620, and according to an article that the town itself established in 1680, and was the county seat for a long time until the 1800s, when someone said that's too far to go. They moved it to the Warwick courthouse, where it is now, the county seat. So there's, you know, I don't think anything's been done, that people can go see. What was one of these towns like? What was it like? Because you had a warehouse, you had barns, you had a jail.
Yep.
You had it was a little town, and there were, I think, 8 of them, weren't there, along the river. Correct?
I think the American Planning Association is probably a good idea, because I feel like the city leaders aren't really listening to our vision. So maybe if they get some imagery and some ideas and some vision from a national association, maybe it will inspire the rest of the council and some of the other people we need to convince.
Particularly, you know, for the revenue side, you know, with their issue, how do you get revenue? And one thing that at the conference, National Planning Conference, I went to in New York, and they were the whole estimate. You discussed it. Why parks are good? How it helps the community's health.
Absolutely.
And these are very positive things. The parks have great value to the life of the city and health of the city and health of the people in the city.
Help them keep.
Gentleman in the back.